everyone, and welcome back to PropWay. So as many of you requested, I am finally doing a prop from the DC universe. And of course, if I'm doing the DC universe, the first prop I have to build is a Batman cowl, or mask, or helmet. And this cowl specifically is the one shown in the trailer for the new Batman movie coming out in 2022, starring Robert Pattinson. And obviously there are literally probably hundreds of Batman cowl designs, but because this is going to be the newest one, I figured it'd be the perfect one to start with. So this cowl was 100% free-handed out of EVA foam, and I do plan to put the link in the description below for the template. So putting this on is extremely easy. All you have to do is unstrap the Velcro right here at the neck, and once that's unstrapped, all you have to do is put it over your head, just like that, and then you just restrap that neck piece. And there it is. It fits nice and snug to my face. The only issue is that there is a little bit of a gap here right by the jaw, so you can see a little bit of my ear. But I plan to kind of tighten that up a little bit and have that push in so that it'll be nice and tight towards my jaw. But other than that, I'm extremely happy with how this came out. And to take it off, all you have to do is unstrap that Velcro here and pull it off. And really quick, if you guys are new to the channel, feel free to click that subscribe button because I'm going to be posting a lot more content of DC props, Marvel props, and a bunch of other stuff. So that is enough talking from me. Without further ado, let's get on with the tutorial. Okay, so whenever I do voiceovers, I edit it and I cut it, but this time I'm going to try to do it in one take. So if there are mistakes, I apologize in advance. But anyways, here I'm starting off by sketching out the nose of the mask. And really, this is just going to be the first step. So here, you want to have sharp edges on that nose. So I'm going to take an X-Acto knife, and I'm going to cut out a little bit of an angled piece on the backside, just like this. You don't want to cut all the way through. And then you can just rip out those angled pieces, and here you'll see there's little openings. And when you fold it like this, you'll get some sharp edges on the front. And now I'm going to use this Weldwood contact cement and just brush it onto the backside. And once you brush it on, you give it a few minutes to dry, and then once you stick it together, it should stay held together just like this. So now you should have the completed nose piece, and I've made Batman cowls in the past, I just never made a tutorial on it, but I always start off with the nose piece, because in my opinion, this kind of sets the tone for how big or how small your helmet's going to be. Once you have the nose piece, you kind of just build outwards from that. That's just how I do it. I think this fits perfectly. So now I'm gonna work on the rest of it. I'm probably gonna now continue with the eyebrows of the mask. So let's get on to it. So here I'm just sketching out the eyebrow of the mask with a silver Sharpie. And I'm just gonna cut it out just like this. And a lot of these pieces involve cutting at an angle. And the template will show which parts need to be cut at an angle. And you see what happens here is you'll get these nice bevels and nice edges, and that's going to help get you some nice sharp edges and nice angles when you glue it together. So here, after adding some contact cement, I just stick it to the nose. And as you can see here, I went through a lot of iterations for the eyebrow, and it definitely took a few tries, so I ended up with something like this, and the final template will have the correct shape. So now I'm moving on to kind of the cheek and cheekbone piece, and they're going to get glued to the nose just like this. And here, I didn't show myself adding contact cement, but it's the same as any other time. Once you add it on, you just wait a couple minutes for it to dry a little bit, and then when you put the pieces together, they should stick together permanently. And here I'm just cutting out another piece, which will kind of be the upper cheekbone right below the eye. And that's going to get put into place right there. And again, I kind of want to have a sharp corner here, so I'm going to cut out an angled piece on the backside. When you pull that out, when you bend it, you'll see that nice edge. So here I'm just connecting it to that lower cheekbone piece. And here I do it to both sides. And now I'm sketching out another piece, which is going to kind of close off that cheek and eyebrow piece together. So you're gonna have two pieces that look like this, and then with some contact cement you just glue it into place, as I'm showing here. And that should really close off the eye and the cheek piece, and that should be one nice solid piece. So now we are going to add the upper eyebrow. And again, it is important to cut these pieces at the angles that are shown in the template, because once you glue it together with the contact cement like this, you'll get these nice cornered edges. So now I'm sketching out the forehead piece, and I'm using a heat gun to heat it up, and once that softens up a bit, you can just take a round surface and press that foam piece around that round surface, and you'll get a nice curve to that piece. And it should look something like this. And now once that piece is curved, you can take it and stick it together to the eyebrows using contact cement. And it should look like this. And now these two pieces are going to be the side of the head. And of course, we're going to use some more contact cement to stick it together. You want to brush it onto both edges that you're going to stick together and wait a minute or two. And now you should have some structure starting to come into place. And you can even do a quick test fit if you'd like. So you should have something like this. So now I'm sketching out the ear piece. And this is a very important part because it's going to really give you the correct size of your bat ears. And of course you're going to follow along with the template. So now I'm just sticking the piece to the side of the head. And you're going to want to do that to both sides. And now I have this piece which is going to get glued at the top of the helmet, and after rounding it off a little bit, this is going to get glued to the back of the helmet. So this here is going to kind of keep the two ear pieces together, and that's going to kind of set the overall size of your helmet. So after adding some contact cement, I glue it to one ear, and then you connect it to the other ear. And now here, I am going to be adding, this is the top piece. This is just going to fit into place like this. And then you're going to want to just, again, contact cement that into place. And here you can see I used the heat gun again to round off this piece. And it is important to round these off. That's going to give you nice natural shapes and won't look like a kind of a boxy head shape. So you should have something up to this point that looks like this. And now we want to fill in these gaps here right next to the ears. So what I do is I took these triangle pieces that I cut out. I was going to say sketched out and cut out. These triangle pieces that I cut out, and they're going to get put into place like this. So take your contact cement. And if you want to use hot glue, you definitely can. Your seams won't be as tight. So I do prefer contact cement. So here I'm just connecting the pieces together. And now I take these thinner pieces of foam. This is 2mm foam. I used white because I didn't have any more black, but since we're going to paint over it anyways, it's okay. And here I'm just connecting those pieces onto the inside of that ear using some contact cement. And after you do both sides, you should have a piece like this. So at this point, you should have the upper half of the bat cowl completely done. And honestly, this is going to be the hardest part of this mask, because really, the rest of it is just going to be kind of big panels around the back and around the neck. This is where all of the detail work is, and if you made it this far, then you're probably 75% of the way there. So you can put it on and test it out for fitting, and I think this actually fits pretty well. I might do some trimming around the forehead area just to make it a little tighter and a little smaller. But really, it should fit nicely, and if it is a little loose, you can always add padding on the inside when you're done. So let's get on with the rest of the build. So now I am sketching out this big panel that is going to be kind of the back of the head leading into the back of the neck. And here you can see I had these two pieces glued together, but you can cut it out of one piece if you'd like. And it should fit onto the bottom of the back just like this. And now after adding some contact cement, I'm just going to glue that into place. And now I'm working on the front neck piece. So I'm just sketching out this piece. This is again out of 4mm foam. And I'm sketching out some more of the sides of the neck. And I'm going to glue these three pieces together. And you want to kind of glue it with a little bit of this kind of a offset, which will add to the effect. So this neck piece is going to glue to that back panel just like this. Okay, so after gluing on the neck piece, I realized that this is actually now too tight to even try putting on my head, as you can see. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut off a slit of the neck, and pretty much this is gonna be an open flap, and I'll just be able to close it with a Velcro. So let's do that. So instead of cutting out the existing piece, I just cut out a completely new piece, and I glued it to the back of that side piece. And now you can see here I'm just using contact cement and I'm adding a Velcro strip. Okay, so I'm sure this video is super long at this point, but I promise we are very nearly done. So at this point, you should have something that looks like this. And this is after adding the Velcro strips. So pretty much all we're missing would be the back cover to the neck. So now here I'm just sketching out the back piece, and this piece is very simple. It's just going to be kind of a couple of squares, and you'll see shortly how I glue it in place. So here you want to take this left side piece, and after adding contact cement, you just stick it to the side of the neck and also that back panel piece. And you want to do the same thing for the other side. And then you can stick those two pieces together. And this is what you should have when you're done gluing everything together. So now to paint it, I'm going to use a seal coat of Mod Podge. And this doesn't matter whether you use gloss or matte, since you're going to be painting over it anyways. And here I'm just using a brush to kind of add a thin layer. And you want to make sure you do thin layers at a time, or else you will start to see streaks from your brush. Or if you plan to paint it another way, that is perfectly fine. This is just how I do it. And after adding that Mod Podge, I'm going to use this jet black acrylic paint. And again, I just add it on in thin layers. And I just add it to the entire mask. And when you're done, you should have something that looks like this. Thank you guys so much for watching that tutorial. I know there are a ton of steps, but using the template should save you a lot of time. But I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Honestly, I couldn't be happier with how this turned out. And it definitely will not be my last Batman tutorial. So if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe and stay tuned for a lot more content to come. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. And honestly, this is probably gonna...